Hi, and welcome to Nubian News, where you get the news from the north, the east, the west, and the south. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Nubian News. We'll be giving you the news, 50 stories in 30 minutes. And now, for the good.
First story is coming out of where?
Muskogee, Oklahoma, with a young man named Davon Johnson.
This 11-year-old brother did some amazing things. Check it out.
He saved a classmate from choking, and he saved a woman from a burning building.
All in the same day. So right here, they're giving him awards. Actually, they're giving him badges for being a sheriff and for being an officer in the same day. Sixth grader got some potential there. What y'all think?
What a hero.
What a hero.
Look at him.
Saved his classmate from choking and saved the woman from burning in the building. Now that's a good one. All right, this next story coming out of Pennsylvania, Lincoln University.
Dr. Akil Dix.
Dr. Akil Dix, college professor, Lincoln University. You see the baby in his hand? He told his sister to bring the baby to class because she said, I can't make it. I can't make it, my baby. Like, bring the baby to class. And so when the baby started crying and she had to study, he's like, I'll hold the baby and still conduct the class. I need you to get a degree.
That's why education is very important.
And brothers like that, very important too. Reaching out for brothers and sisters.
Influence, influence, influence.
Good job, Dr. Akil Dix, Lincoln University. The good.
The good, the good.
Next,
Now on to Miss Pat.
she made crossing guard of the year in the entire state of Florida.
Congratulations, Miss Pat. Next story coming from San Antonio, Texas is Tiffany Moore.
Tiffany Moore, she see the 10-year-old neighbor, her 10-year-old neighbor get shot. So she ran down to help, said, I'm a nurse, I'm gonna help this girl. And she ran down and did that even though she didn't have to. She took it upon herself to go out there and say, I'm gonna try to help save this little girl's life. How many of us would have actually really did that? Took our time out and we know we can help this person. She actually took the time and did it. So therefore, they paid her an award for doing that. There's an agency out here that pay people for doing good. Remember that, you do good, you might get a couple of dollars. When she got her money for it, she got $500. They came to her and said, hey, this for doing a good deed. And she did that. And she gave $100 to the little girl. You go, girl.
What a hero. Next story is coming from the 504.
504 New Orleans, we got this brother Mac, former rapper with No Limit. I don't know if some of y'all remember him, that's old school. But his story is he went down for 21 years on a crime he did not commit. He had 30 years to do. After 21 years, the governor of New Orleans decided to give him a pardon and took a look at his story and said this guy didn't do this murder. But all in all, he going back right now to talk to the youth about the consequences of your actions. Mainly the music being influencing brothers and sisters to do bad things. He going back in the classroom, talking to the brothers and sisters, telling them that's not the way. Jail ain't fun. People out here glamorizing the crime and thug life, and it's really not the way to go. He's just trying to encourage you, find another road, find another route. Other than that, you can end up like him. 21 years he did on some crime he didn't even do. You go, Mac, at least he's going back telling the kids something. Hey, this ain't the way. Wish more brothers do that.
I really do. I agree with you on that one. Next up, from northern Memphis, Tennessee, we've got former NFL player Curtis Weathers.
He played with the Cleveland Browns, number 55. That's before everybody's time. But the thing is, he did go back to the youth to mentor the youth in his hometown of North Memphis, Tennessee.
He's a great mentor, and a lot of people are actually following him right now. We need more people like him, to be honest. I think he's a great mentor right now. He's doing a lot of good things in Memphis. People should find and check him out. That'd be Curtis Weathers.
Good role model. Give up the good work. All right, this next story is out of
Chicago, Illinois.
But this brother's is kind of a sad and good story at the same time. We got this brother, Deshaun Harris, 24 years old. He started a foundation in Chicago, non-profit, Project Hard Knocks. That's where they go out and feed the homeless, feed people that need food. You don't have to be homeless, just people that need food. They actually go out and bring it to them. He actually got killed last summer in Chicago at the age of 24. And these two brothers took over the Project Hard Knocks and kept the mission going. We got Brian Simmons and we got Nursa Backstrom. These two brothers carried the torch.
Although we need more good, it's time for Nubian news from the north and the bad.
Next story coming out of Wisconsin. The state of Wisconsin already approved $41 million for new youth prisons. That's right, they putting your kids in prison. The 13, 14, 15, 16-year-olds doing that crime, y'all better pay attention because they're going to lock you in prison. Ain't no more juvenile detention, slap you on the wrist, let you go at 18. You're doing all your time. Do the crime now, you're doing the time. All these states going to incorporate that. Juvenile prisons. The bad. This story is a sad, unsolved mystery coming out of Chicago, Illinois. We got two pastors. One of them, Dr. Yvonne Lee Wilson, and her husband, Delbert Wilson. Both just finished the service on the south side of Chicago. They got 2 blocks away and was struck and killed by a car in a collision. Both of them died. Rest in peace to both of y'all. Rest your soul. If anybody out there in the 111th area in Cottage Grove know anybody with a detonator car recently, you might want to question them. This story is still in Chicago, Illinois. We got this bonehead brother. He got attempt murder on 2 Chicago police officers. He in bad shape. The story goes, the guy just had a little weed, probably a little dope on him. He got pulled over. He got scared and panicked. But you didn't have to shoot at 2 police officers, man. Just I guess hold your own, man. Hold yourself calm. But now you got 2 other felonies. Attempt murder. Bonehead brother right there. Bad business. Bonehead brother Kalo Harris Caldwell, man. Stuff like that. Keep the police shooting at us. That's what it is. All bad. Next story, we're gonna go stay in Chicago, downtown, subway, Grand State, Red Line to be exact. On this particular station, 2 men was beaten and robbed on that station. They was beaten and robbed, and then a week later, a team was killed and shot at the same station. All over the United States, is issues and situations on these trains and stuff. Y'all be careful on there. To be aware is to be alive. Keep your eyes open, man. All bad. Next up, we have Milwaukee, Wisconsin. This bonehead sister right here stabbed this man to death. She said the situation was the man came, and I guess they got into altercation, and he pistol whipped her, so she say, and she just happened to grab a knife, and she stabbed him to death. The story don't even sound right, do it? But it is what it is. Maybe she was fighting for her life, but if somebody got a pistol, it seemed like they would have used it. But anyway, that's just my opinion. That's the way the story goes. Take the time to read up on it. We need to really stop the black on black violence. It's way too much. Way too much. Most of these stories you're going to see are about black on black crime, and for some reason we just seem to target each other and do serious damage to each other. This bonehead sister right here, Cartisha Adams. All bad. Next situation, going back to Chicago, Illinois, north side of Chicago, and Walgreens. An employee decided to stop a guy from shoplifting. Next time you see somebody shoplifting, you work in retail, let loss prevention do their job, because this guy ended up getting stabbed several times in the legs, face, and his neck, just because he tried to stop somebody from stealing something. This item couldn't cost that much worth. The scars he had for life. It's all bad. If you work in retail, be careful. This story is very interesting out of Chicago, Illinois. This man right here, Kevin Dugar, was serving a 54-year sentence for murder. Now, after serving 20 years, his brother Carl, happened to be his twin brother, already serving 99 years, confessed to say, he didn't do the murder, I did the murder. Sounds interesting, don't it? They twin brothers, so you can't say which one is which. So if the twin brother take the rap for his other brother, all you can do is honor it. Ooh-wee. And now the Nubian news, we're going to take a look at the East Coast. Right here, this is the car, call him the Boo Boo Man, out of Bronx, New York City. His name is Frank Abrakwa. I call him the Boo Boo Man because he has several other charges, and they kept letting him out on bond. They all kind of like minor charges, but they just kept letting him out on I-bond, signature bond. And then he ended up throwing some boo-boo in somebody, sitting at a bus stop, He threw his boo-boo on this lady. So it's like, I call him the boo-boo boy. Maybe he was just fed up with a lot of stuff. He was like, I ain't taking no more stuff for everybody. Kiss my ass, kiss my entire ass, and here's mud in your eye to go with it. Plop. Not funny, but just be aware of people around you, because some people have got some devious things going on in their head and might take it out on you. But I mean, seriously, and you know what? They let him out on bond on this case too, a signature bond. So you got a lot of people mad about the system, saying, why you keep letting this man out? So look out, Boo Boo Man still out there in the Bronx, New York. And maybe he gonna say, hey, I'm fed up, kiss my ass, here's mud in your eye. Block. The Boo Boo Man, make us look bad. All bad, man. Frank Abrakwa, Bronx, New York City. There you go. Boo Boo Boy. All right, this story is next is coming up out of Brooklyn. It's a home invasion. These three people right here, the people's looking for them three. And what they did, they just ran in this dude home. They said they took miscellaneous items. But when three people run up in your home, there's something else in there that they knew what was in there. So when somebody tell you, let me hold this down at your crib, you might want to think twice. Somebody go run up in there and do something to you. These three people right here, man, and people's looking for them up in the Brooklyn, y'all. All bad. This story's coming out of Salisbury, Maryland. This Trayvon Townsend was in the car sitting up waiting for this other brother they had beef with. So his boy handed him a pistol and said, hey man, go handle that. So he did. Now he got 20 years behind bars. All bad. And his boy. Let's all think before we act or react. This next story out of Springfield, Massachusetts involves the Justice Department because for excessive force used on detainees pretty much. Some of these detainees were kicked and spit on. Some of them even got a quote here from an officer saying, I can crush your effing skull right now and get away with it. Welcome to the white man's world. It was quoted saying this stuff to detainees after they already detained and handcuffed. I guess serving them with black eyes and spitting on them and kicking on them, calling them names. But now we have Ron Concoma, Suffolk County. It's up near Delaware. His 20-year-old brother, Yusuf Stain, was killed at a train station. Out of all the places. Guess he had beef with somebody, got into it with somebody. People carrying weapons. So I'm not saying you should carry a weapon. Everybody should really just think before you act or react. That's all I'm saying. You don't have to kill nobody. It's all bad. Now we're going into Delaware, Magnolia. We got Christopher Evers and Keontae Brown was having beef with his sister on the sidewalk. And so when the sister's friend rode up, her friend rode up and said, hey, what's going on? They ended up shooting the guy and killing him. These two brothers right here shot and killed that man for coming to that sister aid. All bad. Okay, we're gonna take a trip to New York City, Brooklyn Zoo to be exact. This brother you see on the screen, J. Con McKinley. He was an up-and-coming artist over in Brooklyn. He was shot and killed. And then 2 days later, another artist, Tay-J Dobson, was shot and killed 2 hours after he got the record deal. What's really going on with that drill music? Drill music, genocide music, all the same to me. All bad. Now we're in New Haven, Connecticut. Story about Richard Whitaker, who was shot and killed. Luckily, they did find the shooter, and he's sentenced already. But a year before that, his brother, boxing champ Deshaun Smith, was shot and killed. So a mom lost 2 sons in a year time. All bad and sad. Going back to the Brooklyn Zoo, we got this brother just got shot on the subway station and the L platform actually, and he's in good shape. But we all bad with the shootings at these trains and L's and subways. Now we pull up to Pennsylvania, Philadelphia. 13-year-old brother shot twice. He's not dead, but he got shot twice because of some beef. They beat up some boys earlier. The boys came back, retaliate with pistol. That's not the only way to solve stuff, y'all. We're staying put in Philadelphia, where another 14-year-old was shot. But he wasn't killed, but he was shot in the arm and the leg over some more beef. First thing we want to do is pull out a pistol and shoot each other. All bad. Now in New York, Utica, New York, we got Taji Hunt. The brother was in jail. He got released from the police station, went back outside, got disorderly, and came back to jail the same day. Bonehead brother, all bad. We're going back to the Brooklyn Zoo, New York City. Group of teens got into it with each other. As a result, 4 teens ended up stabbed on the train platform in Brooklyn Zoo. This train platform's something else, all bad. We're gonna go into Queens, or actually it's Brooklyn, New York. Brooklyn again, Brooklyn Zoo. This guy's gonna get convicted of stabbing 2 different women in 2 different incidents on them subways. Y'all be careful on them trains and them L's and them platforms. Now we take a quick trip over to Queens, Long Island, the subway. Lady going down the stairs, guy behind her. You see him with the hammer, he hit over the head with a hammer. Took her money and her credit cards. Dennis Alston and William Blunt was convicted of that attack. All bad. Now we gonna take a trip to the West Coast, to the bad, y'all. Los Angeles, California. Kodak Black, 3 others shot in the middle of the night, 2:45 a.m. outside of a restaurant. All bad. First thing we want to do is shoot each other when we got beef. All bad, brothers. Big Beverly Hills, California. These 3 brothers, Malik Lamont Powell, Kai McGee, Cameron Smith, shot this man and robbed him. They actually robbed him for a $500,000 timepiece. I know they didn't plan it out, most likely spontaneous. They seen the man with a $500,000 watch. They said, we got to have it. Decided to bust the lick, spur of the moment. They rolled the dice, crapped out. Now they ended up with a 10-piece, a 12-piece spicy. Won't be seeing them for 10 calendars, 12 calendars. All bad, man. Brothers all bad, bonehead brothers. In Compton, California, it was a kangaroo court for Mr. Snooty. He was exonerated after serving 27 years for robbery case in 1995. That's a shame. The system let him down big time. You give up a quarter century of his life, you can't give that back, no matter how much they try to apologize or compensate. He lost a quarter of a century of his life. All bad for you, brother, but hopefully even better for you now. Compton, California. Pastor Reginald Moore shot and killed. Unfortunately, he was shot and killed right after a Bible study service. What are we doing out there to each other? Shoot first, ask questions later. We gotta think before we act or react, because we're losing too many people to the gunplay. We get to talk it out, work it out. There's always another way. All bad. Denver, Colorado. 5 teens found dead, overdosed on fentanyl. It's a sad story, but it's a reality. These 5 teens were out kicking it. They went over to somebody's house. They all chilling, kicking it, and they decided to sniff some little coke. They really thought it was coke because the coke was still found there on the table. And they sniffed the stuff, all 5 of them. I guess they all closed their eyes and never opened their eyes again. So it's a reality, y'all. So if you're out there doing that stuff, you know, they suggest that you get some test strips, which you can get at Amazon, kind of cheap, and test the stuff. And for fentanyl, and also have some Narcan on hand, just in case somebody do go into one of those states of unconsciousness. It's a sad story. Be careful with the fentanyl out there, y'all. Real stuff. Now we're going to take the Nubian news over to the south, over to the dirty, dirty south. All bad. Baton Rouge, Louisiana. We got this sister by the name of Mona Lisa Reed went to pick up her son from middle school. Her son got into it with these 3 other guys. So the 3 other guys act like they had a pistol under their shirt. So she pulled her pistol out and said, I got one too. But just because she did that, she ended up getting charged with having a pistol on school grounds. The kids didn't have one, they was bluffing, but the fact is, bullies need to stop that stuff. In Richmond, Virginia, 146 police officers decertified for bad behavior. More states need to do that. Hold them cops accountable, get them recertified. All bad, but we can make it good. Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Cleveland Eli, 35 years old, shot and killed 14-year-old Mr. Dion Williams while he was out with his friends. Now, Mr. Dion Williams, who ended up getting shot and killed, was out with his buddies, and his buddies ended up getting killed 2 hours later after that. 2 brothers in the same day. All bad. Lucia County, Florida. Robert Hayes is now labeled the Daytona Beach serial killer for killing 3 women in Daytona Beach, Florida. Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Alona, England, killed 1 and injured 4 others while drinking and driving. Don't drive while you wasted like that. If you waste it, don't get behind the wheel. Taking it over to Houston, Texas, at the Cy-Fair ISD coach, it's actually a school system in Texas, was attacked by his students, his middle school students, in the parking lot. The students was out there riding their dirt bikes in the parking lot, burning rubber. He asked them to stop. And then all of them decided to attack him. It was like 5 students attacked him. Everybody filming, nobody came to help the man. They watched him get beat down. Everybody filmed it, put it on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and whatnot. It's all bad. Now we turn to Tulsa, Oklahoma. Here we have a 13-year-old brother shot and killed another 13-year-old brother. What are we doing? The kids will kill you today. We need to take a look at that and do something about that. All bad. Taking it over to Texarkana, Texas. Here we have 16-year-old Kevontae Collins. He's wanted for homicide of 2 and attempted murder of 1. He is now in the DFW area. If anybody know this guy, seen him, turn him in. All bad. Moving on over to Miami, Florida, we got Jarrell Bowman. He was at a club out here in Miami, Florida. Shot and killed the security guard, Sharday Hannah, for trying to tell him, hey man, leave the club. He like, I ain't finna do nothing. Y'all shoot this mug up. And that's what he did. He ended up shooting and killing his sister. He shot her twice and killed her. She was just doing her job. All bad. Now he's sitting there with all this surrounded by these people. Now they finna put misery in his life. All bad. Bonehead brother. All bad. In the land of Lauderdale, Florida, at Walmart. Lady standing at the door saying, "Hey, where you going with that bike?" My man pulled out a pistol. Brother pulled out that pistol on his sister and said, "I'm taking this bike." It was a $350, $400 bike. Sometimes you gotta use your own mind and say, "Hey, wait a minute, this job ain't worth my life." All bad. Sad situation out in San Antonio, Texas, right outside of a nightclub. Brother tried to holler at his sister. She like, "Man, I ain't trying to do that. I ain't trying to hear you, man." They ain't know he had pistola. She was waiting on two of her friends to pick her up. So when the two brothers came to pick her up, they seen dude assaulting her. So they went to run up and say, "Hey, why you assaulting her?" Dude pulled out his pistol, shot the two brothers, killed one. Why we have to do that to each other like that? All bad. Miserable moments out in McAlester, Oklahoma. Here we have Donald Grant. He's the first death row executed prisoner in 2022 for killing Brenda McIllia and Suzette Smith. He robbed them and killed them at a hotel. All bad. Bonehead brother, all bad. His last words were, "I'm going to the universe. I've done this before. I'll be back." No joke, down in Jackson, Tennessee at a Family Dollar, lots of food items were recalled because of rodent infestation. Be careful at them Family Dollars with them food, y'all. We losing out in New Orleans, Louisiana. Our kids out of control. They building juvenile prisons all over the United States. They want to take your kids. We got to get control of our kids, bad. It's going to be all bad. Something strange out there in Stratford, Sherman County, Texas. Brother got stopped at a traffic stop. They found $170,000 worth of fentanyl. I'm not driving nowhere with $170,000 worth of nothing by myself. Patsy, all day long, all bad. Brother really loved his mama out there in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. 23-year-old Nicholas Johnson killed his brother, shot and killed his brother for constantly disrespecting his mama. Cain and Abel, Cain and Abel. Runaways found in New Orleans, Louisiana. They found 5 missing teens and 30 sex offenders arrested in an operation they launched called Boodat. Some of the girls was from Texas and they ended up in another state, sex trafficked. You little girls, you little young ladies, stay at home with your family. You run away, it's a good chance them dudes out there looking for you. You end up in a whole nother state. They're gonna have you doing a whole lot of ungodly things. And when they through with you, you will never be seen again. Take your chances if you want to. Stay at home with your family. They got all love for you. The streets don't. Books over boys, young ladies. Books over boys. And then your story won't be all bad. That's going to wrap it up for that segment of the Nubian news called The Bad. We take it from the north to the east to the west to the south. From my block to your block, the Nubian news. Now we're going to get into the ugly. Ooh. Busted out in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Cardwell and Gardner killed their 2-year-old daughter, put her in a suitcase and left her in the woods in Mississippi. It's a pathetic piece of work. Real ugly, y'all, real ugly. Possessed in Palm Springs, Florida. Joan Burke stabbed and murdered her boyfriend, Melvin Wheeler, with a meat cleaver and several knives. 140 times she stabbed and chopped this man up. And no one knows why. She murdered that man in the worst way. With a wicked witch, real ugly. Off to the pit you go, the pit of the ugly. Terrible times out in Topeka, Kansas. Anthony Robert Jr. shot and killed 3 people after he had beef with some people at a group in a parking lot. One of the people involved, he shot a female. She wasn't even involved in the incident. And his boys went down with him too, just for being with him. All bad, off to the pit of the ugly. Check out this jackass down here in Jacksonville, Florida. Jeffrey Edwards, 19, shot and killed. He shot her in the neck, shot, killed, and robbed Santeria Williams. Her age is 18 years old. What's really going on? You evil, 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 ugly, ugly dude. Little ugly dude. Mayhem out in Miami, Florida. It's all bad. Carter Robinson Martinez ambushed Lysante Jones, shot her outside her apartment, watched her get inside of her car with her 3-year-old daughter, and then ran up to her and shot her. Injured her daughter, killed her right in front of her daughter. What kind of stuff is that? They went and killed this sister right in front of her daughter, ambushed her. They watched her get in her car with her daughter and still had the nerve to go and shoot her. All bad, so rest in peace. I banish you 3 to the pit of the ugly. Another cold-hearted killing out in Coral Springs, Florida. Andrew Thomas shot and killed 8-year-old Ronziah Atkins while he was doing a drive-by shooting. Man, that's sorry, man. Sideshow Bob off banish you to the pit of the ugly. Here's a couple real low-life losers down in Livingston County, Louisiana. Here we have Samuel Peavy and his girl, I guess, Pauline McCarthy. They beat up this 87-year-old man named Lloyd Hutchison. Beat him up, robbed him, tied him up. You know what, Uncle Ruckus? Off to the pit of the ugly. Constant crime out in Chicago, Illinois. 12-year-old Nazelia Moore was shot and killed while these brothers having a shootout in the street. And what's so sad is it was her birthday and they never caught anybody. The incident happened on the 2300 block of 72nd Place. Anybody with info, do the right thing. Senseless crime out in Chicago, Illinois. 18-year-old Keontae McShann robbed and stabbed and then killed 41-year-old Diego Damas on 49th Street, 4900 South Greenwood in Chicago. The dumbass man, Keontae McShann, off to the pit of the ugly for you, dumbass. Madness out in Menasha, Wisconsin. Devon Armour went to see his cousin. His cousin went to take out the trash. When she was taking out the trash, she heard a gunshot. She ran back in the house and saw that her 3-year-old son, Sire Walker, had been shot by her own cousin. And her cousin had disappeared. She had no idea where he went and why he even did that. Off to the pit of the ugly for you. Put the guns away. Put them on safety. Put the guns away. Put it on safety. Devon Armour, I condemn you to the pit of the ugly. Man from Minnesota murdered while visiting Chicago, Illinois. A 75-year-old man asked a group of people on the bus to keep their voices down. 23-year-old Leroy Davis followed the man off the bus, hit him a few times, knocked him to the ground. He hit his head and died of brain injuries. Leroy Davis, you are condemned to the pit of the ugly. A pitiful person in Pennsylvania, Philadelphia. 23-year-old Corey Thompson robbed and murdered 69-year-old James Watson. After seeing him leave an ATM machine, he decided to bust a lick. Corey Thompson, I condemn you to the pit of the ugly. Now to Newark, New Jersey. This joke of a thug, Jeremy Arrington, killed a woman and her 2 kids. Nuff said. Jeremy Arrington on a platinum platter to the pit of the ugly. So how we looking, my people? Are we looking good? We looking bad? Or are we looking ugly? Nubian News. From my block to your block. From the north to the east to the west to the south. Nubian News, y'all. Now we're going to get into the section I like to call my commentary. Nubian News. From my block to your block. As demonstrated, we are all capable of doing good, bad, and ugly things to each other. But we all have choices, and as a result of those choices we make, we have to live with the consequences, good, bad, or ugly. I suggest we focus on bringing out the good in one another, because there are way too many forces out there that is designed to bring out the bad and ugly in our people. We brag, we boast, we doing the most. We swear we killing the game, when in reality, the game is killing us. Because the game is us, and the game is on us at the same time. Also, I want to address the fact we need to take control of our kids before the system or the cemetery take control of them. We already know it's designed to destroy all of us. They're building penitentiaries for juveniles. I can't say it any clearer. From 13 to 18, no more juvenile detention, straight to prison. So let's take control of our kids, or the cemetery will, or the system will, because they sure want them. Who want them more, us or them? We better act like we want them more. So let's take a little more time to focus on our youth. All right? That's our Nubian News. From my block to your block. I'm out.